Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? All right, man. So I had the stover. Phone was getting ready to die. All right, so we're back, man. So just want to talk about a few things. Heavyweight division. Wait for some of you to show up. If you got some questions, we can go back and forth. All right. So this weekend, Brian Jennings versus Alexander Dimitrenko. Kind of a must-win for both guys, in my opinion. Obviously, if Jennings lose to Dimitrenko, this would be a major setback for him. All right, he was already before he came back summer of last year, he was already inactive for a few years, so he definitely cannot afford a loss right now. All right. I've been watching both guys train. Brian Jennings looks to be in some, he always looks to be in great shape as far as his physique. He always in the gym, always running, working out. I know he's a vegan, so he watches his diet. I respect that about him. He looked pretty fast, quick hands in the workouts that I've seen. He looks ready to go. It's just what type of fight will he fight on fight night? Dimitrenko, his workouts, he looks slow. You know what I mean? But that's him. He wants to fight you from range. He wants to let go of that right hand. He wants to use his jab. He can move around a little bit. The thing about Dimitrenko, when I watch him, man, for some strange reason, he just looks very uncomfortable on the inside. Whenever I've seen anybody get close to Dimitrenko, he does this thing where he'll like fuck around and fall on the floor. Against Rav Cannon, he was fighting like that. Joseph Parker, Pulev. It's just, I don't know, man. Once you like get into a clinch with him, it's like he has a tendency to like fall down. Like he's just very uncomfortable on the inside. Like he's scrambling around, not knowing what to do when you get close to him. All right. So I expect Jennings to be able to control the inside on Dimitrenko. Dimitrenko's best bet is to have some distance between him and Brian Jennings and try to land a good right hand. That's just the best thing I see for him. Jennings, if he goes to the high guard and just follows Dimitrenko around without initiating anything, Dimitrenko can fuck around and win some rounds, keeping him on the outside, touching him. One thing I noticed with Dimitrenko, like in the Pulev fight, the success he was having is when Pulev was kind of at a distance with the high guard up, and then Dimitrenko was able to work a little bit. You know what I mean? It's when Pulev started to sit down. What's good, Brooklyn Child Boxing Talk? What's up? When when Pulev was able to sit down and throw that left hook and that right hand, because he didn't really want to jab with them. From what I remember, he didn't really want to jab with Dimitrenko early. He wanted to just hurt him, put some hurt on him. You know what I mean? So that's how I see Jennings versus Dimitrenko going. I expect Jennings to win the fight. I expect him to get on the inside and just bully Dimitrenko. Like I said, you may see Dimitrenko fall down for no reason, man. He's very awkward and not sure of himself when he's on the inside, the fights that I've seen, all right? Another under-the-radar type of fight, you got Alexander Teslenko. We know he moved his career out to Canada. I did a video the other day talking about the heavyweight scene up there in Canada. If you haven't checked that video out, please go check it out. I dropped it a few days ago. It's heating up there, man, up in Canada. I like the prospects that they have. Obviously, I like Oscar Rivas up there. He just can't pass an eye exam here in the States to save his life. But I do like his style. But Teslenko will be taking on the tough, crafty veteran Avery Gibson. Now, I know you go to BoxRec, you pull up his record, you'll say, oh, 9-6, 4 draws. All this dude's garbage. He hasn't been stopped. He's tough to stop. He's tough to deal with, especially for guys on their way up. Avery Gibson he's sparred Deontay Wilder, I want to say hundreds of rounds maybe. But he's been in a lot of Deontay Wilder camps. I've seen pictures of him and in camp or sparring guys like Charles Martin, Gerald Washington, Brazil, some of everybody. Avery Gibson is a tough customer. He participated in the World Series of Boxing some years ago. A few of his fights are still up. He's the type of dude. The reason why first of all, he has a good chin. He stays in the gym. He's always in good training camps, and people call him to come to the camp, you know what I mean? Because they know they can get good work with him. One thing that I noticed about Gibson, durable, stays in shape. He has good fundamental skill set, and he can give you different looks. Some journeyman level dudes they just put up the high guard, or they just drop their hands and try to, bend at the waist and go left or right with their head movement and move back, try to give you that slippery, elusive type of style. He can do both. That's why I've seen guys, Bogdan Dinu, who else did he fight? He fought a few guys, man. Razvan Kanjanu, who just got blitzed by Luis Ortiz with that straight left hand. Gibson has fought some guys on their way up, man. And the reason they go to decision with him because they can't figure him out fully, just enough to say, all right, I'm going to just do this one thing and just get the victory. I'll worry about looking good in my next fight. That's what he presents. He's kind of like a Jamal Woods. You guys always hear me mentioning these journeyman dudes that are tough for up-and-comers to beat. Jamal Woods, John Bolden, Avery Gibson, you know, so tough to beat, but I'm going to go with Teslenko. Oh, he also fought Simon Keane, who's another undefeated. I believe Simon Keane is 15-0 up there in Canada. So if Teslenko can stop Avery Gibson, that's going to be impressive to me for a guy working his way up. All right. One thing I think Teslenko will have to worry about is I was watching him and Gibson's fights today, some of their fights. And one thing about Teslenko, I like his style. He's very relaxed in there. That's what really impresses me about him. The dude had close to 300 amateur fights, won about 270 of them. But he's really relaxed. He's a Ukrainian cat, and he moved his career up to Canada. But he's very relaxed. Kind of gives you that Golovkin type of style. He's very relaxed. He likes to paw and probe with his jab. But he'll snap it at times. But he wants to paw, probe, get close, land the right hand. And then he throws awkward combinations. You know, where a guy would usually throw jab, if you're orthodox, jab with your left hand, straight right hand, and then the left hook. Your basic 1, 2, 3 you learn in the gym. He'll do some shit like where he'll probe with the jab. That'll be his 1, and then his 2 will be a straight right hand to the body, and then he'll lean back and then throw the left hook. Like little things that the way he switches it up, I like that. But one thing about a probing jab and the jab you're leaving out there too long is people can come over the top of that jab with hooks. And that's something I would see Avery Gibson doing, especially when he was dropping his hands in certain fights and trying to wing over hooks. So he's going to have to watch for that. He might get surprised, might get shocked on that chin, man. But I'm going to go with Teslenko on that fight. All right, I'm going to go with Teslenko, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens this Saturday. All right, so Jennings, Dimitrenko is happening this Saturday. Teslenko versus Avery Gibson, as far as, you know, just some heavyweight fights. All right, Tyson Fury, I dropped a video today. I got to see him in his little public workout. I'm going to get to the questions in a second here, y'all. I see you guys up in here. Salute to all y'all. I seen Tyson Fury today. Looked to be in really good shape. Now, he did have a T-shirt on, but for what I mean, shit, there was other times I've seen Tyson Fury over the last 9 months where he looked like the damn Michelin Man. Like, seriously, I'm not even trying to be funny. He literally looked like the fucking Michelin Man. Especially that footage of, and I put it on my channel. You guys remember when Manuel Char seen Fury at it was some type of event they were at. I forgot, it was something that they were at, and Char went up to him. Reading the comments, people saying it was fake, but Char went up to him asking for a fight. And I'm looking like, dude, that dude's fucking 400 pounds. Like, literally, he was like, looked like he was 400 pounds. But what I will say from today, what I seen, he looks to be in better shape with the T-shirt on than I seen the shape he was in going into the Fury fight. And I seen him with T-shirts on in that fight or in that camp as well. But we'll see what the weigh-in shows, all right? But as far as his spirits, he seems like the old Tyson Fury, man. He's, you know, he had jokes. The guy interviewing him, he started throwing punches at the guy, playing around. He was playing to the crowd. A lot of people turned out to see his workout today. He was snapping punches on the mitts. He was pivoting, turning, moving his head side to side. I mean, again, nobody's throwing punches at him, right? He's not in there against another guy. I know that. But just watching him work out, he looked pretty damn good. So we'll see what happens on fight night. I'm expecting a 7th round TKO. I'm expecting Pianeta to come out there and give it all his best, right? And like the first round. And once he figures out there's nothing he can do with Tyson Fury, I see Tyson Fury stand on the roughing him up, stand on the outside. When he needs to get in close, rough him up, beat him up on the inside, you know, hold with the left, hit with the right, or hold with the right, hit with the left, bully him. You know, he may stick his tongue out. Depending on where Wilder's sitting at, he may fucking look at Wilder and say something. You never know what you're going to get with Tyson Fury. He may put his hands behind his back. I expect him to outbox Pianeta. I expect him to box circles, squares, and triangles around him. And then once he starts to wear him out, tagging him, I expect for him to get him out in the 7th. Maybe his Pianeta's corner throws in the towel, or maybe he decides that he don't want no more and says uncle. All right, but I'm expecting this fight to be over. I don't expect it to go to late rounds. All right. See what y'all talking about. Brooklyn Child Boxing Talk was good. Josh, he said, how's it going, Mr. Boxing? I'm good, man, chilling. Brooklyn Child Boxing Talk says, I want to do some homework on Noski Solomon. Yeah, that dude, he's straight out of Brooklyn, too. He right where your neck of the woods at, man. He right out of the BK. So definitely, there's amateur fights of him up. I put together a highlight package on my channel. If you want to look that up, it's like a 3-minute, showing clips of his amateur stuff and some of his training. But he definitely has the size. I know he said that Penn State University, they were interested in him as playing football there. For anybody from the UK listening, American football, getting a scholarship on there for whatever reason that didn't pan out, and he turned to boxing. I know he's with Eddie Hearn. He does a lot of sparring with Jarrell Miller, Adam Konowski, so he's right in the BK getting good sparring. I would like to see him go down to the heavyweight. I'm sure wherever he's at, he's getting good work. But I would like to see him go down to the heavyweight factory down there in Florida with Shannon Briggs and Trevor Bryan. And a lot of people come into that heavyweight factory. A lot of people, so. But yeah, man, go ahead and study him up, man. He looks like a decent prospect. John, the fight fan, says, what's up, man? Brooklyn Child Boxing Talk says, I wonder if he has the pop to be successful. He boxes too much for me. As a heavyweight, you need to sit down, try to spark somebody out. If you're talking about Noski, that is true. You do need to sit down on punches, although I've seen guys be very successful. Shit, Jimmy Young back in the 70s. In the 90s, we had Chris Bird, so on and so forth. I'm not going to do a damn history lesson, but there are some guys that can't get away with it. To me, as long as you have enough power to make people respect you to where they just can't run in on you and try to, now there are some guys, their style is like that. They come for it. But to me, if you have enough power to keep people honest, you're good. But as a heavyweight, yeah, I want to see a fucking knockout. You know what I mean? I want this shit to end somebody being sparked, laid on their back. I get it. But I do think you can be very successful not having crazy knockout power. Prince Vito says, yo, Mr. Boxing too late. What's up, mate? What's good, man? Andy Sarmiento, he says, who will fight next? Andy Ruiz. Who will fight next? Andy Ruiz, because the big guy need more fights. Yeah, man, he wanted to fight Jarrell Miller. You know what I'm saying? And Jarrell is playing the, right now, Jarrell is playing a catch me if you can. What have you done lately type of thing right now. Jarrell took the fight in Chicago with Thomas Adamek because there's a big Polish fan base there. Adamek, he has came back since that Molina loss and picked up a few victories. Besides guys like me, and if you're hardcore to the heavyweights, you didn't even know that he was back. You know what I mean? But I did. He beat Fred Cassie, Joey Abel, and I want to say Solomon Haumanu. I believe he beat Haumanu. I'm not sure. I'm not 100. I'm doing top of my head, man. But I know he fought Cassie and Joey Abel. All right. So a lot of people didn't even know that. They didn't even know they didn't even know this. He's fighting him in Chicago because there's a big Polish fan base up. There's one in Chicago, one in New York. All right. The guy's a 2-division champion at light heavyweight and cruiserweight. To me, I think his better days is past him. I thought his best days were at light heavyweight. I'm just not a fan of the fight, man. I'm not a fan of the fight. And I thought him fighting Andy Ruiz Jr. would have been a lot better. And I remember Miller saying that the reason he don't want to fight Ruiz is because he wasn't rated by anybody. And it was just because he was inactive. Because when Andy was still active, like after the Parker loss, he was still rated highly in a couple of the sanctioning bodies. You know what I mean? And it's like, dude, but everybody knows who Ruiz is. You see him training. Ruiz look like he's ready right now to fight. That motherfucker looking fast, powerful on them damn mitts, man, and pads. But Jarrell's playing that you're not rated right now, and I do think Andy just got a ranking by somebody. I don't have my computer up, y'all, so I'm doing everything on top of my head. But I do believe he did get a ranking by somebody. I want to say the WBC. I could be wrong, man. But anyways, Thomas Adamek isn't rated by anybody. But I know what Jarrell's rebuttal will be. Oh, but he has a big fan base. So look, man, fights like Ruiz, Dillian White, those type of fights should be coming up, man. Not no fucking old ass Thomas Adamax, man. Like we don't want to see that. I respect Adamak for what he done 8, 9 years ago, but right now, I know and he does stay in shape, but he's 41, and it's not like he's a 41-year-old heavyweight where he's 6'8" and he can you know lean towards his advantages. Now, if you want to say, oh, he's a quicker puncher than some of these guys and he's more elusive, that's his advantage. Okay. But Miller should be fighting Andrew Ruiz, man. I was seeing the last couple of days, everybody coming out with their hit list, right? I did videos about Dave Allen saying he has a hit list, said he wants to fight Helenius, Brown. He's trying to get one of these guys in the ring before year's end. I broke it down because a lot of these dudes have fights coming up. But Dave Allen was saying he wanted Helenius, Brown, possibly the Nick Webb rematch, Price, and Dylan Carmen. A lot of those guys got fights coming up soon. All right, I'm not even going to break that down again. Just check the video out. Then Jarrell Miller just came out with his, before that, I'm sorry. Derek Chisora came. Damn, y'all, shit went out and came back in. All right, but he wants to get Adamak. He wants to get Adamak first for obvious reasons, right? Because he has to fight the dude. And then he was saying he wanted, after Adamak, he wanted Manuel Char or Dillian White. All right, so one thing that I'm seeing is nobody's saying they want Luis Ortiz on their hit list. Now, I know Joyce, I know Joe Joyce said, was it Joe Joyce that said he would fight him? But not next, though. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, man. Can y'all hear me still? This shit went out, then it just came back in. Just let me know if y'all can hear me, man. YouTube be tripping sometime with this shit. Y'all let me know if you can hear me right now. All right, you can hear me. All right. Let me see what else. I forgot where I left off at. JMJ2121 says, smash that like button for Mr. Boxing today too. Yeah, man. Smash that shit. Let's see. Boxing is me says Fury is trash. Andy Sarmento says Fury is a fault of respect to this sport. He's done some things that I don't agree with, but shit, he's back. See, my thing is, what is he doing now, though? We can look at everybody's past, but what are they doing now? And to me, he looks to be in good spirits. He's fighting. He's active. A lot of people came out to show him support at his public workout today. Shit, even a fight with Safiri, you know what I mean? People came out to support him. Shit, I'm doing a video on him right now. A lot of other guys are doing videos. I mean, he did some questionable things by retiring and doing the shit that he was doing as far as his life. And he's came out and he was honest with us, you know what I mean? But to me, man, he looks in good spirits, ready to fight now. So that's all I want to speak on is right now. Now, we break down his career when he's done and over with. Yes, we can bring up that part of his career. But right now, man, he looks in good spirits, ready to go, man. Shit, I'm not about to be down on the brother, man. It do look like he's ready to go. Let me see here. Koi Matia, he says Fury is a major problem. He's going to give Wilder fits, but if he gets caught, could it be over? And that goes both ways. Yeah, if he get caught with right hand, I'm just curious to see what. I'm gonna just sit back, kick my feet up, and see what happens. See if he's separated from his senses, or see if he's going to stick his tongue out and say, "Give me more." That wasn't shit. It's gonna go. It's going. It's going to go one way. You know what I mean? One of those ways. Leo Dono says, where would you like to see Joseph Parker go from here? People saying he should change his trainer. He's lost to AJ and White, and you can make an argument he lost to Fury and Ruiz also. Shit, Lee, and some people make an argument. Some people think he lost to Takum. You know what I mean? Look, man. He was able to get Parker where he was, all right? If Parker think he needs a change, then he should change trainers. But to me, this shit's just obvious. All right, maybe they need like somebody else in the corner on fight night, not necessarily change trainers, you know, have a whole different training camp. The dude just needs to be more aggressive. He needs to be more aggressive. And in the corner, I think they need a little bit more urgency because it looked like they're almost cool with him just going to 12 rounds, it seemed like. You know what I mean? But he knew what Parker had to do going into the White fight, which was be more aggressive. He brought it up in the presser. I don't think he needs to change trainers, man. You need to train with who you're comfortable with. You need to train with who you're comfortable with. In my opinion, at least. You know what I mean? Some people think that get with somebody's gonna make you uncomfortable, so you know they think that could make you train harder. Maybe that works for some people, but to me, you need to train with who you're comfortable with, man. He got him to where he needs to be. As far as where he should go, as far as fights, a lot of good fights he can, you know, I was thinking, we'll see how Lucas Brown looks. I know people like Lucas Brown, but that fight should have been happened. That should have happened when Lucas Brown had that regular WBA title, and he was talking cash shit too, telling, because Parker wanted to fight him. Now you need to, he was saying a lot. I did a video on it, man, but he was saying a lot of shit about Parker. It's funny how times have changed now with over the last couple years, but he was saying that Parker needs to do more, and he's trying to take the easy route. I mean, Lucas Brown was talking like he was some fucking like he was some fucking 7-8 year reigning champion or something, man. It was crazy the way he was talking. I still would like, you know, Junior Fa. I still want to see that fight. Maybe it's a little bit too early. I still want to see how that pans out. They went 2-2 against each other in the amateurs. I want to see how that pans out as pros. There's a lot of fights out there for Joseph, man. There's either, you know, could he go the journeyman route or fight somebody that's a fringe contender at home to get back in the win column and things like that? Yeah. I mean, right now it's up to him, man. It's really up to him. He can step right back into the fire, fight the winner out of shit. I don't know, like Charles Martin versus Konowski. There's a lot on the table for him. Derek Chisora, Ajay Kabayel. I mean, he can go all types of different routes. He's still young, man. So I don't think his career is like over with or anything like that. The dude's still fucking young. Still seems as if, you know. So I guess we'll sit back and see with Joseph Parker, man. I want his demeanor to be more cutthroat, though, when he's in the ring. But that's just me. Xavier says Chris Bird is a good example of low posse. Yes, indeed. Ivan Lewis says, shame on Jarrell to fight Adamek. Yes, I'm not a fan of that fight at all. Ivan Lewis says, Adamek was at his peak back in 2010 when he beat Areola. Yeah, man, he was piecing Areola up. And I was favoring Areola to win that fight. I thought he'll be too much for Adamek. I thought he'll just put too much pressure on him and just kind of the same thing I think what Jarrell's going to do to him. Pressure him to hell. But there was points in that fight where Areola kind of respect, and that's what I mean about having enough power to where people just respect you. You know what I mean? Where they're not trying to bust in on you and run you over. You know what I'm saying? And Areola kind of stopped in his tracks and was kind of like boxing him from a distance. And Adamek was just, you know, throwing combinations, moving, getting out the way. He started to piece Areola up. Brooklyn Child Boxing Talk says, Jarrell is such a disappointment to me. Yeah, if he wanted to fight a Polish fighter, he should have tried to fight Izu Agono. I think that would have been a much better fight. I mean, he fought Wak, now he's fighting Thomas Adamek. You guys remember the rumor was Arthur Spilka. You know what I mean? So shit, you're gonna fight a Polish guy, fight Izu Agono. Boxing is me says Fury ain't beating nobody. He's missing people. Steve Wilco says Deontay Wilder is a bum, has fought nobody. Jason Eagle says Fury was the best by a country mile. Let's hope he can get back to his peak and teach Joshua and Wilder a lesson. Adam Sarmento says, a good talk, man. Okay, you were telling me that you can't hear me. Okay. Steve Wilco says Ortiz is about 50. All right, Steve, I see where you're going with this, bro. You're really not going to get no response. I mean, well, you're getting a response out of me, but I'm not about to go back and forth with you. If you think guys are bums and whatever, it is what it is, man. Whoever you really are. You know what I'm saying? Ivan Lewis says, it's bizarre that Ortiz's power wasn't enough to finish Wilder. Yeah, man. I mean, see, to me is nah, because Ortiz showed you in his last fight, he can get you the fuck up out of there. You know that shit Joseph Parker was struggling to do. Ortiz went in there and made it look easy. Now, Grosjean was knocked out by Donovan Dennis as well with a straight left hand. The punch that I said that he would land and knock him out with. You know what I'm saying? But Ortiz got some pop, yo. Wilder, I mean, we gotta give some credit to his chin. It wasn't like Ortiz was hitting him soft. You know what I mean? It wasn't like Ortiz like, okay, now I'm gonna hit you soft now. He was just throwing shots. Some of them were missing. Some of them were landing clean. You couldn't get him out of there, man. But he damn sure, damn, look, man, when that shit was going on in that seventh, I literally was like, it's over. I literally thought he was gonna stop him. Literally thought I was waiting. I thought the ref was gonna jump in at first. And then that last punch he landed at the end, I thought Wilder was going to fall before, right. I didn't think he was going to make it to his corner. I thought he was going to fall when the bell rang. And the motherfucker stayed up. But Ortiz got some pop, man. And I know people, that's a different story. I don't even want to talk about that. Shabazz says he wasn't that good a fighter at the peak of his career. Now he's doing a comeback to cash out. Not sure you're talking about. Feed Khabib says heavyweights are all dossers and bums. They're only one man, the Gypsy King. Ivan Lewis says, but Parker couldn't finish Conjanu. Ortiz was able to. Yeah, put his ass to sleep. Weed Degree says, what's up, Mr. Boxing? What's good, man? Xavier says, so doesn't that mean Fury is the king of bums? Ivan Lewis says, I think David Tua had more powerful left hook than Dillian White. Yeah, by far. You guys from that 90s era. Shit, Tommy Tyson, Deathman David Tua. What? David Tua is one of the most powerful heavyweights I've ever seen. And I go all the way back, y'all. Y'all, if you've been following me, you know I go all the way back in history when I say things like this. I'm not just saying some shit. STE Gannon says, what's up? What's up, man? Ivan Lewis says Huey Fury will most likely run a lot from Pulev. See, some people call it running. Some people call it fighting off the back foot. If you're running / fighting off the back foot and you're landing jabs, sitting down on right hands, and then moving, getting out the way, circling, turning them, jabbing to the stomach, coming over the top with a straight right hand, double jab back upstairs, move a little bit, tie him up on the inside, let the ref break you, get back to the jab, move. When you're fighting like that, man, you fighting off the back foot. All that running shit. Look, everybody's not Gotti. I'm not saying you're saying this, but I see a lot of fans talk about this. Every fight's not going to be fucking Gotti Ward. Every fight's not going to be Igomar Johansson versus Floyd Patterson trilogy, Bo Holyfield. It's just, that's not, we're lucky when we get fights like that. With that said, though, there are some guys that just, that's what they do. That's how they fight. You know what I mean? I would love to see him sit down more. He says, I've heard Fury say some of his idols are Ali and Holmes. My thing is, okay, yeah, they fall off their back foot, but I always call Ali and Holmes, I call them boxer fighters. Boxer fighters. Because sometimes they will sit down on them punches and they will just fight you off of them. You know what I mean? Their mindset is a little bit different. Sometimes Holmes will come forward with that snapping jab. You know what I mean? Ali will go on his back foot, but then he'll plant and let 5s and 6s go, meaning 5 to 6 punch combinations go. So you want to encompass some of Ali and Holmes in your style. You also got to look at times when they will sit, plant their feet and fight. It wasn't all about just moving around fighting like that. Times got rough, I'll fight you off me. That's the type of mindset that they had. At least that's what I took away from it when I watched those guys fight. But Pulev has a chance to, because sometimes Pulev, he won't always jab with you like the way he did Dimitrenko. Okay, your jab ain't shit. Boom, he's coming over the top of your jab or your right hand with left hooks and power shots. You know what I'm saying? He can establish his range with a hard jab. Now, if he can jab at Fury and cut the ring off on him and make shots count, Fury might have some damn problems. Let me see here. Shabazz says Wilder has some extra time from the doctor too. I believe, now I'm doing this off the top of my head again, but I believe it was like 18 seconds. I know a lot of fans were exaggerating, saying 3 minutes, and I'm like, it wasn't no fucking 3 minutes. But I believe on my post fight, it was 18 seconds. But my thing is this: okay, he got that time. But the way I look at it is like this: with any fight or any fighters, you mean to tell me that that was your only window? Was that 18 seconds? What about that next round? What about, why didn't you finish him in that round, or the round after that, or the round after that, or the round? You know what I'm saying? And Ortiz was having success in the fight, so it wasn't like it was some Hail Mary. Actually, the punch that he threw that hurt Wilder, Ortiz literally got hit with a right hand. And when I was watching it, I thought the right hand from Wilder hurt Ortiz more than Ortiz shot. And then as it unfolded, I'm like, oh shit, Ortiz hurt him more. And then that's when he started his barrage of punches on Wilder. That was, man, I'm gonna go watch that fight again after this. That was a very good fight, man. But yeah, I believe it was 18 seconds. I believe it was. I believe it was like 18 seconds. But I see a lot of people was exaggerating that shit. Let me see here. Steve Wilco says, why will no American boxing fans accept that Wilder has fought nobody? I'm not saying Wilder is not a great fighter. I'm just stating a fact. Yeah, but that's not a fact. And when you say nobody, what does that mean? What does that mean he fought nobody? Like what are you saying? So who are the somebodies? Just Klitschko and Joshua? Are those the only somebodies? Or let me guess, it's Dillian White now? So Duopa was a nobody. He had to beat somebody to get the title, right? He fought Stavern. Now you want to say, oh, but Stavern, look, Stavern did what he was told to fight in a fucking title eliminator when Vitaly retired. He fought Ariola, ended up fighting Ariola twice. So Wilder fought that guy. Guys, look, I don't even feel like getting into this because this is just, it's like we're talking in circles, y'all. Like, we've been talking about this shit for a year and a half. And when you guys say this guy's fought nobody, this guy's fought nobody, he ain't beat nobody, they're all bums. My question to you is, when did you start watching, and this isn't to be condescending, I'm just being real talk with you. When did you start really watching the division like that? Is it when certain guys got titles? And that's fine. That's fine if you're that type of fan. But if you ain't really been following this shit for at least for the last 10 years, 8-9 years, watching the old guard go out, there are still some guys from that era when Klitschko was dominating that are still here. Chisora, shit, Thomas Adamek, guys like that. And then you have a new crop of guys. Now, if you don't respect the new crop, hey, that's on you. But Gerald Washington was undefeated, a part of the new crop. Does that mean that Gerald Washington was going to be a Hall of Famer or something like that? No, it doesn't. But he's fighting the new crop. It's like when AJ beat Charles Martin. People are getting on AJ. I'm like, dude, AJ just fighting the motherfucker that got the belt. And he's fighting one of the guys who are part of this new crop of guys. Once they all get in there and start fighting, then we can weed out who was the man of the era and all that shit. People want to determine the era right now. It's not even close to over with. This era is not even, it's just started. It just started. And he just fought Luis Ortiz, or let me guess, he was a bum too. And then some of you guys' definitions of bums is just different than mine. Because to me, it's like, okay, so if Johan Duhaupas is a bum, then what is a guy that's 3-46? So is he a higher level? Is he a more higher level bum than that guy of bums? Or is he bum A and he's bum B? I mean, I don't know, man. Xavier says Gerald Washington, Arthur Spilka, Luis Ortiz, and all his defenses. And then then there were a few guys that just didn't want to fight him at all. They went another route. Like Glaskov was a guy. He ended up going the route to fight for the vacant title. He said, "Fuck that! I'm gonna fight for this vacant strap against Charles Martin." Because you guys remember not Huey, but Tyson Fury was like, I'm not fighting no fucking Glaskov. You guys remember that shit? He was like, I'm not fighting him. And then, we know what happened with Fury. He started letting let the belts go. But, it is what it is. That's one thing about my channel. I'm not here to convince nobody to think nobody's not a bum. I'll give, I'll go back and forth with you as far as you asking me a question. But at the end of this live stream, still think he's a bum. Shit, go ahead. That's all on you. I know what I'm watching, and the reason, see, what I'm not going to do on my channel, people call, oh, you're biased, you're biased. Who gives a fuck? Because you know why? I sit back and watch. When you go and watch those old Larry Holmes, and Larry Holmes, one of my, you guys know how I feel about Larry. One of my favorite fighters, not heavyweights, fighters of all time. Ali, Foreman, and Holmes, all right? When I sat back and I listened to Howard Cosell, Larry Merchant, Joe Blow, and everybody else talk about these guys when they're in their primes, in their careers, no respect. You would think, you would have fucking thought Larry Holmes was a garbage heavyweight champion. Listening to them, they started giving more respect towards the end. Evander Holyfield, during his run, he can't punch hard. He's a blown up cruiserweight. He can't do this. He can't do that. He won't beat this guy. He won't beat that guy. He won't. Like they're fucking bums. So what I'm going to do in this era of today, out with the old. This is not the Howard Cosell era. If I'm going to watch your career, if you start getting fucking 7, 8, 9, 10 title defenses, unifying, doing different things, I'm giving you your props. I'm not going to wait until 15 years from now to give you props. I'm giving you props now. That's how I'm doing it. I'm not going to be Howard Cosell. He's the worst heavyweight. Get the fuck out of here, man. I see somebody that can knock a motherfucker's head, put people to sleep. I'm giving him his props. He's trying to fight him, him and Tyson Fury, two of the best of his era. I'm giving them props for making that fight. But that's just me. That's just me. Fee Khabib says, well, let me go up real quick. Xavier says top rated fighters equal bums. And sometimes people say bums, they just, that's a term that's been in boxing for decades. Like, he's a bum, he's a tomato can. People are just talking shit. I get it. But there are some fans I really believe they think everybody's a bum except for their favorite fighter. It's just weird talking to people or trying to go back and forth, because I don't really know if that's what you really mean or if you're just using the term to use it. But I get it. You just talking shit going back and forth. I mean, you watch an NBA game and I've heard people say, oh, man, LeBron ain't shit. He's a bum. He's playing like a bum tonight. So I get it. But there are some people I really think they really believe the guys are bums. I rated in the top 10, he's a bum. Has a title, he's a bum. He's unified, he's a bum. He is like, what the fuck? You grading on the crazy curve, man. All right, let me get back to this. Ivan Lewis says, who you favor, Mr. Boxing, Pulev or Huey Fury? I'm going with Huey in that fight. But we will see. Jason Eagle says, yes, you're so right. So many people want a slugfest in every fight. I prefer watching technically good boxers. Brawling is for the streets. I like them both. But if you prefer that type of style, no, there's nothing wrong with that either, man. But I like them both. Fee Khabib says Joe Joyce beats everyone not called Tyson Fury. You believe that? Who you think will win between Joe Joyce and Tony Yoka in a rematch? I know Yoka's going through some shit right now with his drug issue, or he got banned or some shit like that. I seen it, but I didn't get a chance to click on it, man, and read it. So don't take me in that's not written in stone, but it was something about a suspension or something that I believe that I seen about Tony Yoka. I like Joe Joyce though. He's out there training in Big Bear. He's been getting some training in with Charles Martin. I like Joe Joyce. You know what I mean? I know he called out Ortiz, but not next. But he wants to, but he will fight him, but not next. Joyce called him out because Martin Bacole Alunga, I'm sorry, called him out. So I wonder if he'll answer that. SJL says, who are your top 5 heavyweights, Mr. Boxing? Are you talking all time or are you talking just today? Johnny Todd says, okay, he's talking to somebody else. Daniel Collis said, Wilder literally beat Areola with his left hand only. Yeah, pretty much. Would he fuck up his hand and he fucked up was it his elbow? Or I know he had a big ass, he had like skin missing. I don't know what the hell. I think Wilder said he was doing yard work Some people were saying some other rumors that he probably fell off like a bike or something, or a motorcycle bike. I can't confirm or deny any of that, so it's not written in stone what I'm saying. I just seen a big ass gash on his arm, and I know he messed his arm up during the fight. But what I will say is yeah, he didn't cry. Came over that adversity and got the fight done and won. Went on to the next. Arsenal Maniac says, Mr. Boxing, why is your joke? Okay, this is just starting off odd, but he says, why is your joke WBC holder not signing to fight Joshua? Coward. His excuse is now that Eddie is signing for Joshua. No Joshua. What, man, look, he's about to fight Tyson Fury. Look, I'm done with the Joshua debates. I've done that shit for a year and a half. I want the fight. It seems as if one guy turned down a massive, as Eddie Hearn would say, massive amount of money that they didn't want. I don't even care about that shit no more, man. Tyson Fury versus Wilder is where I'm at. Then after that, let's get back to trying to go for undisputed. Whoever has the title. If fucking Tyson Fury goes in there and beat Deontay Wilder, then I want to see Tyson Fury versus Joshua or Povetkin for undisputed. How about that? Shabazz Shaliki says 18 seconds was critical to Wilder's recovery. It was when the round started. If you remember, he got caught at the end of the previous round and got the extra 18 seconds at the start of the next round. Yeah, he did. So he got the minute to recover, you know, the minute they give you when you're sitting on your stool, blah, blah, blah. And then he came out, they gave him 18 seconds. Yeah. But after the 18 seconds, you know, we can break it down and say, oh, man, but, you know, this happened. But during the course of the fight, though, it's up to Ortiz to go in there and try to get him out of there. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, no, but what I'm saying is a lot of fans were over exaggerating when the doc pulled him over to look at him. They were saying it was like, oh, it was like 3 minutes and all this crazy shit. I've seen a lot of that on like post-fight videos where I'm like, man, people were fucking exaggerating that 18 seconds. Truth told was good. He says, there's a reason why AJ has twice as many points on BoxRec with only half the amount of fights. Wilder's had a really easy route for so many title defenses compared to AJ's. Well, yeah, you know, BoxRec goes by algorithm, man. So just put it this way, bro. Adam Konowski beat Arthur Spilka, and I did a video on this, so you guys can type it in, Adam Konowski top 10 heavyweight. My video will pop up. He was rated number 10 after beating Spilka, and I'm sitting there like, whoa, fucking BoxRec moved him all the way to 10 after beating just Spilka, the only name on his record. So just think if you beat Vladimir Klitschko, how your points will boost all the way up. They go by algorithm, bro. And all this, half as many fights. Yes, I know Wilder did start out and he beat journeyman level guys, man, for a good portion of his career. My thing is, I just want to decipher what happened. Just get him in the ring, yo. And all these arguments and debates and all this shit to be put to rest. Get him in the ring. Whoever gets knocked the fuck out, that's what happens. Move on. At least for me. I'm not shutting down channels. I'm not doing anything. I'm going to keep it moving like I've been doing it for the last 10 years on here, regardless of who wins and loses. But that's just me, man. But I've seen dudes shut their channels down when their favorites lose. I always thought that shit was odd. It's like, damn, you put that much stock into this to where you going to go into hiding? Let me see here. Answer a few more of these, y'all, and then I'm going to call it a day. Ivan Lewis says, my dream fight most definitely is Wilder versus Vitali, although it will never happen. Man, that's a good one right there. Vitali at his best against Wilder at his best, I may lean towards Vitali. But Vitali is very underrated in my opinion. I've done a few videos talking about Vitali Klitschko. I want to see what Wilder does against the other guys who are the top, you know, like the Joshua Furies. I want to see him fight more of these guys, White, Miller, to really say what I think about that type of matchup. But from the Deontay Wilder that I've seen right now versus the best Vitali I've seen, I will go with Vitali Klitschko. Alex Sanso says, these trolls must be coming from Temple Hearn talking all this bullshit. Yeah, man, you know, it is what it is, man. Steve Wilco says, no, mate, I'm following boxing a lot longer than you, and I know an awful lot more about boxing than you. You're self-righteous and speaking a lot of shit. That's why only 30 people are listening to you, mate. Fair enough. Fair enough. I don't know how long you've been following boxing. As far as who's showing up to watch the vids, man, I don't, as you see, I don't even show my subscribers. It's never been about subs and who's here to view. I have thousands, I have a lot of subs, man, a lot, thousands and thousands and thousands of them, but I don't show them because the thing, just like you did, the first thing people get into is, well, you only got this many subscribers, or only this many. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about boxing. I've been in the ring. I've been watching boxing for over 30 years. So if you've been watching it for 50 or 40 or whatever, or 31, 32, hey, more power to you, man. Steve Wilkos with a Donald Trump picture. This is all good, man. Alex Santos says, okay. Ring IQ Boxing Talk says Wilder has had it easy most of his career, even this fight. Okay. Ring IQ Boxing Talk says Fury isn't ready for Wilder, even if he looks amazing against Pianeta. Fair enough. Ivan Lewis says Holmes versus Mercer was an amazing one. Yeah, man. Holmes took him to school. Mercer, you know, Mercer actually had a fight. It's when he had his WBO strap. And because you guys remember he beat what's the dude's name, man? Francisco Damiani. He beat him, and then he had a fight against Michael Moore. It would have been Mercer versus Michael Moore. He decided to drop that belt to go fight Holmes for a payday and beat a name. Wrong. Holmes took him to school, man. Shabazz says this channel is so much better than Boxing Ego shit. Well, if that's your opinion, that's cool. Shout out to Boxing Ego. I have no problem with him. Ring IQ Boxing Talks. Larry Holmes is one of my personal faves. Yeah, man, I think shit, Larry Holmes is these. I mean, shit, you can't say. I mean, what more can I say that I haven't already said over the last 10 years here on YouTube about Larry? Fee Khabib says, where, okay, this dude's just trolling, man. I guess, man. I guess you have nothing else to do today, so it's all good. You can sit back and listen to me. That's all good. Cornbread says it's crazy the way fools push apologetics for frauds they don't even kick it with. Okay, I don't know where that's coming from. Jason Eagle says, do you think Parker is underrated? I think he's had some rough deals with judges and referees. Would you agree? I thought that the referee in the Joshua fight was jumping in way too early. He was jumping in like fucking fighting on the inside was illegal. I thought that shit was crazy. That's one thing about the referees. As far as the judges, I'm trying to think. Are you just saying because of some of the close fights? Do you think you gotta inform me on that? Let me see here. I'm gonna field a few more of these, man. Cornbread says Dylan White ain't fighting Fury. Get real. Ring IQ Boxing Talk says Parker is a good skilled fighter, but lacks killer instinct. Strange for a heavyweight. Yeah, I would like for him to be more intense in there, be more aggressive. And the fact that he knew he wasn't as aggressive as he could have been, which is a learning tool, right? Like he went back, studied, like, man, you know what? I could have been more aggressive in that AJ fight. So for him to try to learn from his mistakes and implement being more aggressive in the next fight, I like that. But just the fact that you have to sit back and even come to the conclusion that, like, damn, why wasn't I more aggressive? How the fuck can you not be aggressive in a unification fight? Like, that's between two undefeateds. Like, that's crazy to me. You know what I mean? And there was a fight, I believe it was the France Botha fight, man. I could be wrong. I'll bring this up on another live stream. I think it was the Botha fight where he had Botha against the ropes and he could have landed another punch and then he pulled back at the end. You know, and I remember when I first saw that, I was like, ooh, man, you know, he should have just finished him. Ray Mercer versus Tommy Morrison style. Cornbread says Parker is better than anyone. DW, I'm assuming you're talking about Deontay Wilder. Parker is better than anyone Deontay Wilder ever will fight. Okay. David Fanazzo says, great video, man. I like hearing your opinion. Some people are way too critical. No doubt. Appreciate that. And that's another thing, y'all. If you know, I'm gonna let your opinion just rise. As long as you don't disrespect me. If you think whoever's a bum or this guy ain't that, hey, that's all good. I'm not here to change nobody's opinion, man. Have your opinion. That's what we are. We're boxing fans. Have your opinion. Shit. I think Ali's the best. I would rate him 1A, the best heavyweight I ever saw. A lot of people disagree with that. A lot of people disagree with me having George Foreman high and Larry Holmes. So shit ain't gonna never change my mind. So you can say what you want, man. Long, as long as there ain't no disrespectful bullshit going on, you can have your opinion, man. Who the fuck am I to try to change your opinion of who you think's a bum or not? Ivan Lewis says Holmes was a big talent, no doubt, but Vitali was a better. See, there you go. But Vitali was a better fighter. Okay, that's your opinion. I'll disagree. Ring IQ Boxer Talk says Parker gives away rounds at times. It's odd. He's got good defense, good hand speed, but some reason lacks. What the fuck? Hold on, man. All right, my bad. For some reason lacks an initiative. Yeah, sometimes he could. I mean, shit, you pretty much summed it up right there, man. Arsenal Maniac says Beyonce's excuse for still not signing the contract. Man, I don't even want to talk about that shit, bro. Like, let's talk about some. Okay, look, all right. For those of you that got questions like that, how about this? You can leave that. That's fine. Let's talk about actual fighting. Let's brush with Povetkin, the actual in the ring fighting, jabs, feints, schemes, skill set, what they're going to do. Let's do that. That's where I'm at. All that other shit, there's other channels that talk about that, and that's cool. Me, I'm more style breakdown. That's why I do I'm gonna get back to it. I like to do breakdowns on my heavy bag. If you guys don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, go to my playlist and check out my heavyweight breakdown on using my heavy bag. Some of this shit is just for the birds, man. Like, I don't even want to hear this shit, man. Like, break down a fight. Like, shit, break down boxing to me. Let me see here. Break down some boxing, man. Shit. He's a bum. Okay, well, break down a fight. He didn't sign this. Break down a fight. Shit, man. Mac G12, what's good, man? I ain't seen you in a minute. What's good, brother? William Redmond says, what about Trey? Or you put Trippy more about, I'm pretty sure you're trying to say Trey Lippy Morrison. He's still fighting. Yeah, he just had a comeback fight recently. Hey, man, I want to see more Trey. He has a brother also who fights, Kenzie Morrison, the sons of Tommy Morrison. I like Trey. He was getting TV networks were looking at him before he was out because he had a big gash over his eye and he fucked his hand up. But after he beat Ed Lattimore, who was another undefeated prospect, he beat him on Showbox. That casino down there in Miami, Oklahoma, I believe it's Miami, Oklahoma. It was a small casino, but that shit was jumping for him, man. They had like signs up. That little room he was in, it was packed. And they were cheering the fuck out of him, man. And I know, his dad from Oklahoma has history down there. Heavy hands. Last I seen, he was working with Freddie Roach. Roach had his weight down. Can he take a punch? The fighting's in the bloodline. He seemed to have a good left hook like his dad. I don't know if it's as effective as his father's, but seemed to have some heavy hands working with Freddie Roach. I like his style. It's just about being more active. Like I said, some networks were having some interest in him. Showbox wanted to have him again, and I believe it was CBS. It was one of the other networks too. But then he ended up getting injured. You know what I mean? So I want to see more Trey, man. Ring IQ Boxing Talk says the Damiani fight was a great fight. Mercer always entertained. Yeah, and Damiani was piecing him up too, man. Mercer had to come back alley in that one. Cornbread says Holmes was great. Yes, indeed. That's one thing we do agree on. And I'm sure there's a lot more we agree on, man. Take a few more of these, y'all. B Marsh Boxing, what's good, bro? He said James DeGale got the same 18 seconds versus Jack, but nobody was crying saying DeGale got time by Doctor. That's a good point, man. And I know somebody say, somebody's gonna say, no, I did, but I'm talking about as far as overall, I didn't see a trillion videos and 80,000 articles on it the way. But you guys know what I'm saying. I'm being sarcastic, but I didn't see videos and a whole bunch of comments talking about it. Maybe I wasn't surfing the right areas, but from where I look at boxing at, I really didn't see nobody talking about it. Ivan Lewis says Breeders already beat one of heavyweight champs, Char. Stop calling him a heavyweight champ. Man, WBA needs to fucking eradicate these fucking titles they got, man. But yes, Breeders did knock him out off the back foot with an uppercut, put him to sleep. That was a KO of the year type of knockout. Yes, he did. If you guys haven't seen that fight, go watch Marius Breeders versus Manuel Char. Put him straight to sleep. Gave him the NyQuil treatment. William Redmond says Larry Holmes was great. Tyson was better. There you go. Somebody I disagree with. I'm going to let your opinion ride. I disagree on that. I know they fought each other, but I think Holmes' longevity, that's a whole different debate. But I think Holmes' longevity and George Foreman is underrated. Let's see here. Cornbread says Fury calling Deontay Wilder out for a tune-up. Laugh out loud. Phil Harr says Bud, it top channel for fans. I appreciate that. Dan the man. Hey, I watched your live. I wasn't able to leave a comment, man, but I was driving yesterday and I was listening to your live stream, Dan. Y'all go sub to Dan the Man Boxing. Ezra Charles has one of the best resumes amongst the heavyweights of all time. Yes. Would love to see Ezra Charles versus Evander Holyfield. Speaking of Ezra Charles, man, one of my best memories of him is knocking out Bob Satterfield with the left hand with that left hook, put him to sleep. Ezra Charles, one of the all-time greats. Let me see here. Filled a few more of these, y'all. Dan the Man Boxing says, but it was a close fight between Lewis versus Mercer. Yeah, they were banging too. They were banging in that motherfucker, man. That was a really good fight. Ring IQ Boxing Talk says Foreman is top 5 on mine. Yeah, I think Foreman, like I always say, man, Ali, Holmes, and Foreman are the 3 best fighters, regardless of weight class, in my opinion. And I know a lot of people gonna fucking disagree with me. Ray Robinson, no, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, but to me, those are my 3 favorite, and I think they're the best that I've seen. Am I biased? You damn right. But with that bias, I can give you all types of stats and info as the reasons why I think they're the best I've ever seen. But we'll be here for a minute if I did that. All right, y'all. I appreciate all y'all leaving these comments, man. I'm going to try to just fill a few more that pop out. Let me see here. Afro Base says, yo, Mr. Boxing, who, in your opinion, was the most technically sound heavyweight of all time? That's a good question, man, because, man, that's a good one, yo. See, when you say technically sound, though, some guys can master a certain technique and be the masters of that. Mike Tyson with the bobbing and weaving for short man, the way the short guys that come forward with the high motors, I thought he was one of the best that I've ever seen fight like that. The new age of the 6'8" type of heavyweight 6'7s, I thought Vitaly Klitschko was the best that I've seen of that. With the way he was able to move off the back foot, but still had enough power to hurt you off the back foot and come forward and be aggressive when he wanted to. The way he was punching, his punch selection and the angles, is the way he was throwing his punches were kind of new to me. And like he would throw this uppercut to your body as he's leaning back, and it looked so weird and like it wouldn't be effective, and it was effective. The way Lennox would fight back in the night, I mean, it's hard to say, man. To me, it's really hard to say. Shit, you want to go from the start way back, Jack Johnson, the way Johnson was moving back then, he had good timing. He was very relaxed. He was powerful. He knew how to fight in the clinch. He knew how to grab. I mean, It's hard to say, man. Joe Louis was another one. He didn't take a lot of steps. He kind of crept forward a little bit, used the jab. He carried his left hand down a little bit, but he was a fast puncher. He know how to angle off. You know, Wanye Kest. He says, "I'm new to your channel, Mr. Boxing. Go to my playlist, man. I covered heavyweights galore, man. Prospects. I've have a playlist. I've covered over 90 prospects. I've done my top 20 heavyweights of the 70s. I've done a top 10 of the 80s, the 90s. I'm gonna get back into the 60s and the 50s. Just heavyweight everything. I've done breakdowns on my heavy bag. Just check out my playlist and just check out the content, man. Check out the playlist and check out the content. Y'all give me a second. I'm trying to answer this text message really quick. But yeah, man, I definitely need to get back into giving my top 10 per decade. Like I said, I want to go to the 60s, you know, talk about, you know, Ali and Liston and Frazier and Patterson and Terrell and Eddie Minchin and Quarry, Oscar Benavena, Cleveland Williams. I mean, list goes on and on, man. Chavallo. I mean, I go on and on. Mildenberger. I mean, there's a lot of guys, man. And then after that, obviously, I want to go into the 50s, hit up the 40s. You know, the 50s to me was a good era. People really don't talk about this type of shit no more. You know, Walcott and Ezra Charles, as Dan the Man brought up earlier. Marciano, Archie Moore. Mitchell was around there. Nino Valdez, who I've done a video on before. Tommy Hurricane Jackson. There's a lot of guys. Bob Baker. I can go on and on with the names. You know what I mean? But I definitely want to get back into that more and just try to get them all, get all the decades. Cornbread says, who y'all think does the best film studies on YouTube besides Lee Wiley? You know, I heard fucking this was it two? It was a while ago, man. I heard what's my man's name on HBO? What's that motherfucker's name, man? Lampley. He actually gave him a shout out on I forgot which fight it was, man. But he ended up giving Lee Wiley a shout out during a telecast. I forgot which fight that was, but shout out to Lee Wiley, man. He does do great work. Mr. Doc says, sorry. Ring IQ Boxing Talk says, home seemed to be the most or one of the, if we're going to, if y'all talk about skill set. Yeah, man, as I like to put it, he was a boxer fighter. He knew when to fight, and he fought when he had to. He will fight you off of him. Lawrence Williams, what's good? Lawrence, man, you got to start uploading videos, yo. Every time I see you, I'm going to say that to you. You and Kurt Anderson, man. There's only a handful of guys, and there's a few guys in here. Dan the Man, Mr. Doc, and a few guys like Ring IQ. He was just talking about, if you remember the fucking Mercer versus Mercer fight that he had with Francisco Damiani, that lets me know that you have been watching the sport for some, you know, quite a while. But there's only a few guys, man, that can really go toe-to-toe with me talking about heavyweights from like the 50s and 40s, blood boxing. I mean, there's a handful of guys. Boxing Beats and Rhymes can do it. There's a lot of guys, man. You know what I mean? But definitely Kurt Anderson and Lawrence Williams is a part of that group. All right. Here on YouTube. I'm talking about here on YouTube. There's a lot of people though, you know what I mean? But there's not. Dan the Man Boxer says, stop calling Charles world champion. Yeah, man. Call that dude no damn world champion. That dude's just a glorified #1 contender. They need to just stop with that shit. Kiwi Box, what's good, man? What's good, Kiwi Box? Mr. Doc says Damiani was just all telling Ring IQ that Mercer had to rally back in that fight, man. He had to rally back. Solon Bragimov. Yeah, I remember him. He beat Holyfield in that fight. He was a solid little fighter. He was solid. He was solid. Ray Tabori says Char got slept by Breeders. Yes, he did off the back foot with an uppercut. Pray for Mines says favorite Klitschko knockout. Well, if we're talking about Vladimir, my favorite knockout with him, it has to do with Emmanuel Stewart too, because Emmanuel Stewart was getting in his face about going out there and being aggressive and stopping Chambers, Eddie Chambers, to the point where fucking Emmanuel Stewart walked away from the corner, went in the middle of the ring, like pleading with him to fight this man, knock this motherfucker out. Then he goes out there and he knocks him out. He flatlined Chambers too. That shit was scary. That shit was scary. That shit was scary as hell, man. And it was in the last round. Like Emmanuel, man, I'm going to end it right here. Y'all appreciate y'all showing up. It's only 30. Was it 28 right now? I think it got high as like I don't know, but whether it's 28, I've had it's been 107, whatever it is. Y'all come kick it with me, listen to me, man. But anyways, yeah. So Emmanuel just had a way with getting in his fighter's face. Tommy Hearns, he's trained a lot of guys, but the times that really stand out to me is him working with Hearns, Lennox, and Vladimir. And he will always challenge them, man. Because to me, like I always say, you can be in the corner giving everybody, you need to pivot with your left foot and then drop your head to the right. Come over with your right hand. When he throws his jab, you step back. Yeah, you can give him all the technical mumbo jumbo, but then there's sometimes you got to say, look, motherfucker, you got to go out there and fight him, man. Fight him. I remember he said that to Thomas Hearns in a rematch with Leonard. He says, fuck the boxing, fight him. Fuck the boxing, fight them. You have to fight people sometimes. The technical mumbo jumbo shit, yeah, the first few rounds, but hey, man, you got to go fight him. That's what I used to love about Manny, man. He won't be in there saying, okay, kid, you got to go out there. When he steps over to the right, you take 2 steps, man. Nobody want to hear that shit, man. It's not time for that. Not time for that. All right, man. I appreciate y'all showing up. Y'all be easy, man. I'm gone.